So back in December of 2023, I had the pleasure of working on this 2020 Ford Mustang Cobra for my customer. This is actually the second vehicle that this customer has brought to me, and we're going to be applying a ceramic coating as well as doing a basic interior for her. This vehicle is extremely loved by this customer. She doesn't even drive it in the rain. In fact, she stores it in her barn with a car cover because it has been known to have a stray cat or bird maybe park itself on the paint. So in her efforts to try to protect the paint, she has put a car cover over top of it. So we're going to check and make sure that that cover hasn't actually induced damage of its own. Interior wise, it's not too bad. She's actually tried to keep the dealership sticker down to protect the carpets. I don't necessarily recommend leaving those in long term though, because the adhesive can actually cause more damage over the long run. So we need to remove the sticker as well as any adhesive issues that we have, and do my best to try to fit all 5'11" of me in this back seat to clean our interior. First up, we're going to get our matte wheels dialed in. They do have quite a bit of brake dust on them, so we're using the heavy duty wheel cleaner from Griot's Garage. When working on matte wheels, you want to make sure that they are cool and that they are wet. You don't want to use chemicals that are extremely aggressive because they can actually stain or burn the matte finish. This has a really nice color change formula, really nice lubricity just to help prevent scratches on the finish as you clean them. But for matte wheels, I always like to use microfiber tools, so that way we try to minimize the amount of scratches that we induce while we're cleaning, because you cannot polish matte wheels. So for that, we're using the barrel blade as well as the Hurricane wheel mitt from Work Stuff. These are my favorite tools to clean matte wheels with. And then for our tire cleaner, we're going to be using the rubber cleaner from Griot's Garage. This is actually one of the better tire cleaners that I have worked with in quite some time. I sprayed one round around the tire and went 2 times around with my brush, and we were able to remove the browning with just 1 round of cleaner. I do wish that it would cling a little bit more because a lot of it does run off onto the ground, but you can see it did an exceptional job at cleaning. Actually see where they're kind of hydrophobic now, or just really clean. That water is running off, it's not sticking to it. They look black, they're wet though, so we're gonna actually just kind of do 1 round with our tire cleaner here, let it air dry, and I'll bring you back to kind of show you what our tires and wheels look like once they have dried, because that is the true test. Once we get our tires, wheels, and wheel wells cleaned, then we'll go ahead and degrease our door jambs with Dark Fury, and then we'll move on to doing our foaming pre-soak. For that, we're going to use Detail Lab, their Rogue. This is a traffic film remover. It's an alkaline-based snow foam that gives nice thick foam. It gave us a really long clean time, so we were able to let it sit for 1 to 2 minutes, rinsed everything off, then did our contact wash with that Rogue soap. Because we're getting this ready for ceramic coating, we're also going to decontaminate the paint. And that basically is removing anything that won't come off during this contact wash. For that, we're using DIY Detail, their iron remover, as well as their clay towel. Those are 2 of my favorites to quickly decontaminate the paint. This will leave behind a silky smooth finish on our paint. We'll rinse everything off, get it safely dried with our gauntlet towels, and then we'll go ahead and examine the paint. As suspected, because of the car cover, we do have quite a bit of micro scratches or fine scratches on the vinyl stickers and all over the vehicle. You can't see a lot of swirls or scratches on this paint because of the metallic flake, but they are there. So we're going to go ahead and figure out what pads and polishes are going to work on this finish, especially our piano trim pieces and our vinyl stickers, which can be notoriously known for being soft. And when I say soft, I mean that they can correct pretty easily, but if you were to try to come in and aggressively remove the swirls or scratches with something like a wool or microfiber pad, more than likely you could do damage or have to at least do a second step to remove the micro marring that can be induced from the pad. We're trying to keep this to just 1 step because that's what the customer has budgeted for this job. So on our piano trim pieces, we're going to stick with an orange foam pad as well as with our vinyl stickers, and we're using Optimum Hyper Polish. This is a finishing polish that works really well on sensitive finishes. When paired with the right pad, it has really nice correction. We don't want to come in with too aggressive of a pad in this moment, especially on our vinyl stickers, because I don't want to warp the sticker. After doing 2 to 3 passes with this combo, then we'll use a rinseless wash to remove our polish residue. I much prefer using a rinseless wash to remove polish residue than a dry towel, because this will help, again, reduce the risk of any sort of scratches or marring that I might induce with my dry towel. So we actually did end up switching it up a little bit on our side panels to the DIY detail, their gold standard and their gold polish, just to give us a little bit more correction, because with different lighting, I did notice that you could see a little bit better, a little bit more visibility. Some minor swirls on the paint. Again, nothing to be like super concerned about. We just stepped it up a little bit more with our pad. I did actually try the gold standard on our vinyl stickers. Notice that it was actually leaving a haze behind, a little bit more micro marring, because the vinyl stickers are more soft. So we had to go back over those with our Optimum Hyper Polish and orange foam pad. So for pretty much these top surfaces here, we did our Optimum Hyper Polish, so that way we don't have any sort of marring on our vinyl stickers. Side panels, we did our DIY Detail Gold Standard and their gold waffle pad. We did do a rinseless wash, but we still need to do a panel prep wipe. Now, a lot of people will ask me, like, what's a really good IPA wipe? I've been enjoying the panel prep from DIY Detail. One thing that Ivan is always trying to kind of teach people is efficiency. And I know that typically in the past, when people would do panel prep wipes, you might see them do this, and they're just spraying it down. And you do not need to go that heavy, especially if you are doing a rinseless wash like me. That's getting a bulk of the residue off. Realistically, what you could kind of just focus on is something like this. One spray, just do a bigger section like this, wipe it off, then come in with a second towel and just give it a light touch. It's gonna save you a lot more money and just help you be a little bit faster with the process. You really don't need to go that crazy, especially if we are doing a rinseless wash to get a bulk of the residue off. That's what you want to hear from your panels. You want to hear that squeaky clean, nothing on it. It will be shiny, it will be smooth, but you kind of want to have that squeaky clean surface. We're getting ready to apply the Stoner Car Care, their paint ceramic. I've actually used this bottle on 2 vehicles so far, and you can see we're just about a third of the bottle is left. So you can easily get 2.5 if you have large vehicles, 2 vehicles with 1 bottle. But we're gonna be starting this vehicle with our first bottle, and we'll probably end up having to open a fresh bottle as we go along the vehicle. But shelf life for most ceramic coatings, once they're opened, is a few months. So we've had this bottle since June. We're like 6 months in, and I'm not seeing any issues. You can see where it's kind of like starting to crystallize though around the outside, just showing you just kind of how strong the coating. And you can see it is a little thicker as we go on, and we're going heavier with our initial prime of our applicator pad. Make sure we have no crystals going on here. We're gonna see what kind of lighting we need on this vehicle. I think we're gonna actually go with less lighting. So we're gonna actually turn off some of our lights here. See if that makes it a little bit easier to see. It is actually easier to see the ceramic coating. So when you have some lighter vehicles, or lighter colored vehicles, you might need to just play around with lighting. We're already rainbowing, it's warmer in here. I'm just gonna grab our towels, just do a quick level. Second towel. I can feel immediate slickness, and just as simple as that, we've applied the ceramic coating. The bulk of the work is honestly the prep work.
This ceramic coating was designed to be very user-friendly, that a beginner could just grab it and succeed with it. But some people are intimidated by the idea of applying a ceramic coating because of the potential risk of high spots. And basically a high spot is when you're leveling the solution, you kind of push some of that excess solution off to the side, you might miss it, and it hardens and dries, and it can be quite stubborn and difficult to remove if you don't know how to handle high spots. You'll notice the lighting that I am using for this application and removal process. I'm playing around, trying to figure out what lighting is going to work best. And I actually had to turn one of my lights onto my garage door. And what that does is it gives me indirect light. You can also use a softbox light like I'm using to inspect every panel, and that will make it a little bit easier to see coatings like this, especially on this color vehicle. Sometimes it can be really difficult to see coatings on gray colored vehicles. I'm going to try to bring you in a little bit closer to show you. We can see a very faint rainbow effect on this colored vehicle. That rainbow is the signal that the ceramic coating is ready for you to level. And we're just going to use our lights to be able to examine and identify any sort of remaining solution left behind that could potentially turn into a high spot.
So after washing with our Griot's tire rubber cleaner, these tires are beautifully cleaned. It removed all of the browning from them with just one round. I'm actually really impressed by that. Most of the tire cleaners that I use, I'm at least having to go 2 rounds with the products just so I can see that white foam to indicate that they are clean. Now we're going to go ahead and protect our matte wheels, put our tire dressing on. For those of you that are looking for easier maintenance protection, I have actually really noticed this product here from Vonix. This is their Synergy wheel. I can see that it is really enriching our matte wheels. It almost looks like it helps fill temporarily some of the scratches that might be on your matte wheels. But for those that have matte wheels, if not this product, I would really strongly recommend putting some sort of protectant on the wheel, so that way you're not having to be as aggressive with your brushes, whatever wash media you use, to remove the brake dust, because you cannot polish matte wheels. It will basically fill in all of the micro scratches that is the nature of a matte wheel, and it will make it glossy. It's just as simple as applying it and then just doing a quick buff. This has like maybe a 1 hour setup time, so you can just apply it and then within an hour you're good to go, and this will protect your wheels for up to 6 months. Has a really great fruity smell. I'm very scent driven with the products that I work with. If they stink, I'm less prone to work with them. That's why I think I really like the Griot's wheel cleaner so much, because it actually smelled great. And so now we're gonna go ahead. This is my favorite tire dressing. This is Carpo Pearl. I have this at a 1-to-1 dilution ratio. This is a water-based silicone oxide tire dressing that will actually make the tires hydrophobic. Dirt is not going to stick to them as quickly. We're just going to kind of come in tight on this lip here. I'll let that set up for about 15 minutes before you drive, and this will actually be dry to the touch. It's not going to attract dust, and it just gives a beautiful black appearance to our tire. So all in all, how we clean, how we protect and dress our tires and wheels, so that way they look fantastic for weeks. You can tell the customer babies her car because she hasn't even taken the dealership plastic off the mat. I actually asked her, I'm like, is it okay if I take it off? Do you want me to take it off? And she said, I don't care. The problem is that if you leave this cover on, you might be thinking you're preserving the carpet, but it's actually a sticker. And if you leave that sticker on here for too long, what could happen is that glue is going to kind of break down onto the fibers of your carpet, that if you were to just decide, oh, I want to remove it now you might actually have something sticky on your carpet that's going to accelerate resoiling. So best tip is that if you purchase a new vehicle and it has this dealership plastic, take it off as soon as possible, so that way you don't have a bigger issue down the road if you ever decide. So we're gonna remove it, see what's going on. We might have to shampoo it with maybe an adhesive remover, but we're gonna kind of assess how bad the adhesive is on this. But best rule of thumb, if you have this on new mats, just go ahead, remove it as soon as possible, so that way you don't have a bigger issue down the road. Just doesn't want to come up. It's been on there for so long. Yeah, it's definitely got a lot of sticker residue on here. So we're gonna have to address that so that way it doesn't re-soil super quickly, because this will just get black and matted down with dirt if we don't remove that. The inside of this vehicle is really not that bad. So we're gonna actually use my Aqua Pro Vac. I have hot water in here. So this bottle is empty because the product within it actually always causes the triggers to fail. So I just store it here, and then I just normally use it in a generic bottle. But this is Super Sol from Superior Products. You can see here, it's an adhesive, silicone tar, and spot remover. This actually, it kind of has almost like a very high solvent gasoline, almost petroleum smell to it. So because it does have a little bit of a stronger odor, and I don't want the inside of the cabin to smell like gas, I mean, obviously that's alarming. We're gonna come in, spray this, kind of work it in. It's actually starting to break it down a little bit. So we're just gonna agitate, try to break this down a little bit.
We're going to show this to you in time lapse because this isn't a quick process by any means. It probably took about 15 minutes just for us to repeatedly go over it with our Super Sol, agitate it with a stiff tire brush just to try to break down some of the adhesive that was on our carpet. You can actually see that white kind of clumpy look is the adhesive starting to gather, and we just had to keep breaking it down, rinsing, spray, agitate, rinse, spray, agitate, rinse until we had fluffy fibers left behind.
Nice and soft. So we just got done with vacuuming out the interior, and honestly, that makes it look almost complete. We do have some areas on our plastics that maybe we have some like body oils or just residue left behind that we need to still wipe everything down. But when you get to a point where you're working on vehicles that are in really good condition, that they're not needing a whole lot of effort, I know sometimes people will still want to get stuck in their processes, and they'll take whatever cleaner that they would use, and sometimes on a vehicle like this you could use something like PNS Express Interior Cleaner or Koshemi Green Star, just a mild APC, and they would still come in and do this, and it really doesn't need to be done. You don't need to do all this intricate cleaning. What we're gonna actually do is just a rinseless wash on all of our plastics. We're gonna use that same rinseless wash to clean our glass. In fact, we're gonna use the rinseless wash. We do have 1 or 2 light spots on our suede seats, and you don't wanna really introduce a lot of moisture to suede, because what can happen is kind of have a clean spot. So we're gonna spot clean the stains on our suede seat with a rinseless wash. So all the interior we can clean with a rinseless wash, even door jambs, wipe it down. That way everything looks beautiful, and then we can apply whatever protection we want once we are done cleaning everything. But let's go ahead, finish up this interior with our rinseless wash, and keep moving.
Rinseless washes are ideally suited for cleaning the exterior of your vehicle, but because of the emulsifiers and surfactants within them, they're also really great at cleaning the interior of your vehicle, wiping down all of your plastics, leather, and especially leaving behind streak-free glass. Squeeze out as much of the rinseless wash as you can from your first towel, wipe down your glass, and then use a second towel that has no lint to follow up, and you'll get streak-free results.
So you can see right here we just have a light stain.
You can also use rinseless washes to surface clean or bonnet clean Alcantara or suede seats. I was very impressed with how easy it was to clean the interior of this vehicle, and also impressed with how easy I was able to get out of the back seat of this car. But within 30 minutes, we were able to wipe down all of our plastics, wipe down our Alcantara inserts, clean our glass, and get the interior dialed in. We even had rinseless wash left over that we could do a quick engine bay cleaning for the customer Since she's not a fan of introducing moisture to her vehicle, this is just a great way to safely clean an engine bay.
So we're going to be taking a closer look at Vonix Synergy Plastic. This is brand new from them. They just released this at SEMA 2023. You can see that this product, if you can actually read Portuguese, you can see this is 3 years on the interior and 5 months on the exterior. In English, you can see the plastic spray coating is a water-based protector that contains carbon and silicone working synergistically to provide protection for up to 3 years on interior plastics and 5 months on exterior vehicle plastics. The carboxyloxy technology causes the carbon in the composition to create a double fixation of silicone on the plastic to increase durability. We're gonna apply this to all of the plastics on this interior. We're gonna put it on our towel. Oh, all of their products, I know, I'm weird. I'm very scent driven. All of these products smell so good. We're gonna just apply this evenly, massage it in all over. One of my least favorite things to do on interiors is actually dressings. And the reason being is that more often than not, they leave behind a streaky, uneven appearance. Sometimes you can actually it makes it look worse when you apply a dressing. Have a product like this that's intentionally designed for plastics. It's gonna give you a healthy dose of UV protection. I actually wanna see if this gives us some hydrophobic. So once this kind of sets up for a minute or two, we're going to hit it with a spray bottle. I'm not going to necessarily give it that 1 hour cure time. It should give us some immediate hydrophobics, and then we'll kind of refresh that area. We've got a lot of different substrates on this door that we just dressed. And if I were to come in here, you can see it's actually giving us some hydrophobics. Now I did it on the lower panel, so that way if it drips, I'm not going to freak out about it. But if you were to open your vehicle in the rain, you would have some hydrophobic protection and UV protection as well. So we'll just go ahead, put a fresh spritz of that. You can actually see the product itself beads up nicely. We'll just kind of work that back in. Flip to our dry side. No streaking, nice even appearance. Gorgeous smell. I'm happy with that. Obviously, your interior is going to need to be wiped down and cleaned before that 3-year mark comes. If I were to use a different cleaner, let's say Sintra or something like that, to clean the plastics, is that cleaner going to remove the Synergy plastic? So do you really need a product to last 3 years on the interior? I probably would not bank on the fact that it's going to last 3 years and that you never have to dress your plastics again. Although if you want to test that variable, go ahead. I'm not. I'm still going to clean and wipe down my interior, because the reality is the interior of your vehicle can actually have more bacteria on your steering wheel and high touch surface areas than your toilet seat. So I still want to frequently be wiping down to knock down the germ levels, the interior of my car. But when you want to dress, it's nice to have a product like this. Smells great, applies evenly, no streaking, healthy dose of UV protection and hydrophobic protection should your doors or anything like that get wet from rain. So for me, I actually like this on interior plastics. I'm going to kind of disregard or not bank on 3 years of protection. Just know you're getting solid protection, and that this product has the versatility to be used on the exterior to protect and give you UV protection on your plastics to prevent fading. I'm not going to say that this is going to restore plastic trim. I would say that this is more for newer plastics that you're wanting to keep looking new, to put down UV protection, hydrophobic protection, so that way you can preserve rather than restore your plastics. But for those of you that have newer vehicles that want to protect it from the start, interior, exterior plastics, one product smells great, works great inside and out. So for me, this is definitely a winner. I will probably use this product moving forward to dress my customers' interior plastics, because I've been struggling to find one product that is natural, matte. I don't like greasy, shiny dressings. I don't like ones that you can see where I've applied, where I haven't, because sometimes that makes more work for me. I obsess over all those little streaks. I don't like feeling it on my fingers. I actually don't feel it on my fingers. It just smells great.
When the customer came to pick this vehicle up, she said it looked better than the day that she had purchased it. And as much as she loves this vehicle, I could tell that she fell even more deeply in love with this Mustang. I was so happy to be able to dial in the trouble areas for her, to protect the paint, to help make it easier for her to maintain. And I know moving forward, she's going to put a lot of love and care into maintaining this Mustang. For those of you that are looking for product recommendations, we're going to put the affiliate links for all of the products that we use in the video description box down below. And if you guys enjoy content like this, where we share with you guys a little bit more of the behind the scenes look at why we use the products that we use, make sure you guys give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for any future details that we have coming up. But this was definitely a fun project for me to work on. We had a lot of different variables that we had to troubleshoot and work through, and hopefully these tips will help some of you out as you're working on your own cars. But if you guys have any questions about detailing, let me know your questions in the comment section down below. Thank you guys as always for watching, for tuning in, and we will see you in the very next detail.